Welcome members of the Thunderbird Global family again. And I mean not only our amazing graduates, but their parents and families and friends, our alumni and partners from all over the world. Convocations are incredibly special times. After 30 years, it just continues to hit me what a special time these are in the lives of our graduates and everyone that's touched them. We hope that you are healthy and safe no matter where you may be in this world. We know how complex and difficult the times are for many of you, all of us really, as we manage this incredible pandemic that we're living through, the global economic crisis, and many other challenges. But we believe, as members of this Thunderbird Global family, that we together can create a better world and bring the world together. The Thunderbird School was founded in 1946 by Thunderbird Air Force pilots who witnessed and lived through that incredible war that shaped the 20th century. They came back and set up the Thunderbird School at the Air Force Base in Glendale, Arizona, of all places. They believed in a world that could advance sustainable peace and prosperity through international trade and diplomacy. And our famous motto, "Borders frequented by trade seldom need soldiers," was coined at that time. The first generation of T-Birds were U.S. Americans who came back from the war and also from the Defense Department, the State Department. They were leaders and managers of the Marshall Plan, rebuilding Europe, and served as a model for us in today's incredibly difficult world that we too can make a better world. With the success of the school, students from Europe, Latin America, Asia, the Middle East, and Africa joined us. And in 1970, we became a graduate school with our incredible Masters of International Management. We brought together the magical triangle of global business, international affairs, cultures, and languages. For 30 years, Thunderbird was the vanguard and the premier of international business and management, charting the way for generations of students from all over the world. But we hit on hard times. The world changed. The end of the Cold War, 9/11, the global financial and economic crisis. But through it all, Thunderbird stayed true to its core values. And those core values are represented in our oath of honor. We have found a rebirth in our new partnership with Arizona State University. Joining Arizona State University 5 years ago, we began a new path, a new journey with Thunderbird. I was lucky enough to join just 2.5 years ago, and I have to say, dear friends, it was difficult times. Not many things were going great at the school, and I'm grateful to the students who joined us, undergraduates, graduates, our executives from all over the world, who believed that we would come through. And I'm proud to report in the last 2.5 years, we've had the most significant turnaround and transformation in a global professional school, perhaps in human history. We've accomplished so much together, and we have done that because students, faculty, staff, alumni, partners across ASU and all around the world have come together. The world we live in is challenged by so many difficult things. First of all, the rise of nationalisms and parochialisms. We live in a world where anti-globalism seems to be the coin of the day. But we at Thunderbird have always believed in a world coming together, borderless. Borders frequented by trade seldom need soldiers. We are hitting planetary boundaries, the Anthropocene, as natural scientists have called it, where humans have transformed virtually every ecosystem on the planet. And we know that climate change is advancing rapidly in scale that we never fathomed. And yet, we are part of this incredible period called the Fourth Industrial Revolution, where new technologies are transforming everything, who we are, what businesses we engage in, our governments, our societies. Artificial intelligence, or what we prefer to call augmented intelligence, the Internet of Things, distributed ledger, drones, creative technologies, biotechnologies. These are transforming everyday life. And this Fourth Industrial Revolution is only accelerated and amplified during the COVID pandemic. In this context, I set out when I joined Thunderbird, a new and bold vision for the school, a vision where we contribute dramatically and at scale to sustainable and equitable prosperity worldwide, where we train the future global leaders and managers of the fourth industrial revolution, every one of you graduates here today. We are proud at what we've accomplished over these last 2.5 years together. The new degree programs, from the Bachelor's of Global Management and the Bachelor's of Science in International Trade, the Master's of Global Management, #1 ranked in the world, our online master's programs, and so many more. You are the first generation of the T-Birds of the 21st century. We are now almost turning 75 years, and it's up to you to keep that torch that was lit 75 years ago for the next generation. During this time, we have established regional centers around the world, from Nairobi to Jakarta, from Geneva to Bogota. We have advanced digital executive education like nowhere else in the world. Our faculty and alumni are thought leaders and do leaders. They make a difference every day in the world. That is the community that you are graduating into. That is the community for which you owe your allegiance. And this is the family that will stick by you through every difficulty and every joy you experience for the rest of your careers and lives. One of the great accomplishments of the last 2.5 years is the constructing of Thunderbird's new global headquarters, the most digitally advanced global headquarters of a leadership, management, and business school in the world. As you know, our imperative is to be the most global and digital professional school in the world. As you can see, we are in the digital headquarters here during your convocation, and it is absolutely spectacular. When you walk in on the ground floor, you'll walk into the fourth industrial revolution. You're welcomed by a co-robot, human assistant, artificial assistant, that takes you through the building. You'll enter our digital global forum with a digital globe with immersive capabilities, holographic capabilities like this, and 20 screens connected to all of those regional centers around the world. An AR/VR language lab, the latest technology, sandbox classrooms, everything you could ever imagine, because that is Thunderbird of the next 75 years. As you traverse the 5 floors of this incredible new global headquarters, you'll go back in Thunderbird and global history through regional lounges, the North Africa and Middle East Lounge, the Asia Lounge, the Latin America Lounge, and you'll make your way to perhaps the heart and soul of Thunderbird, our pub, the European Gastro Pub, for which at Glendale so many generations of T-Birds connected, formed friendships, often got married and had Thunder babies, Thunder families, and lasting community. This new global headquarters signifies the next 75 years of our history, but it is together that we will build that history. And the world is calling upon us today to take that leadership. I came to Thunderbird because I believed in its core essence, in our deep values. Remember that oath of honor. We oppose all form of corruption and exploitation. We respect the dignity and rights of all people. We contribute to sustainable and equitable prosperity worldwide. We are so proud of each and every graduate. You are two T-Birds in every way. You carry on the mystique of our forerunners, and you will take it forward in incredible, magnificent new ways. Next November, we'll open up this grand new global headquarters during our grand opening, global reunion, 75th anniversary, November 4th to 7th, 2021. Mark your calendars. And for all you graduates who couldn't experience an in-person graduation, we welcome you back because we will celebrate you again today. But what I hope you see with this one-of-a-kind digital convocation is that no matter the challenge, no matter the circumstances, we can be resilient, we can be adaptive, innovative, creative. Thunderbird is the future, and you're part of that future. Be proud, be confident, be inspired, because I am so proud and confident and inspired by each and every one of you. During these incredibly difficult times, we have 3 principles. The first is to ensure that everyone is healthy and safe, not only physically, but emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. Our second core principle is to deliver world-class programs, opportunities, initiatives. Everything we do, and this digital convocation is an exemplar of this. You are part of these world-class opportunities. And third is for the Thunderbird Global family, which includes you, now our distinguished alumni, to shape the world, to make it a better place, to innovate, to transform, to connect, and do so with compassion and empathy. Again, I am so proud, so confident, and so inspired by each and every one of you. I know the future is bright. Please stay well, be healthy, know that you have a Thunderbird Global family for the rest of your lives and all of your careers. All my best. I would now like to introduce an incredible T-Bird, a wonderful friend, our guest speaker for this convocation, Susan Stevens. Susan has been a senior executive with over 30 years' experience in the banking industry, culminating with leadership of corporate banking for the Americas at JP Chase, where she held the P&L responsibility for the delivery of banking products to large corporations in the US and Latin America. She has broad experience and expertise in client management, corporate finance, capital markets, and credit and risk management. Prior to JP Chase, she was an executive vice president at Wells Fargo Bank, where she built its capital market business. Susan was with Bank of America for 11 years before joining Wells Fargo. She currently serves on the board of Umpqua Holdings, a bank holding company with $29 billion in assets, where she is chairman of the Enterprise Risk and Credit Committee, a member of the Audit, Nominating and Governance, and Executive Committees. She is on the board of Red Duck Foods, a certified B Corporation, startup in the food condiment sector, where she brings her financial acumen and leadership experience. Susan is also a trustee of the University of Oregon Foundation Board, where she is vice chairman and a member of the Investment Finance and Capital and Nominating and Governance Committees. She was on the board of trustees of the Thunderbird School of Global Management from 2012 to 2014, and since 2018 has been a member of the Thunderbird Global Alumni Network Advisory Council. She's part of a Golden Seeds, a New York, San Francisco-based angel investment group focused on women entrepreneurs in the technology and life science sectors. She has a master's in global management from the Thunderbird School of Global Management and a BS in psychology from the University of Oregon. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you, Dean Cogram. It is an honor to be asked to give the commencement address to you today, the class of 2020, and I want to thank Sanjeev for his invitation to do so, and also to take a moment to recognize the transformational leadership he has offered to our beloved school. Thunderbird is once again flying high, and we owe you our thanks for all that you and your team has done to make this happen, Sanjeev. Well, Thunderbird and I have come a long way. In June of 1947, when the school was still called the American Institute for Foreign Trade, the first commencement speaker was Dr. Robert L. Nugent, Vice President of the University of Arizona, and he spoke to 234 graduates on a repurposed Air Force base in the middle of cotton fields in Glendale, Arizona. I am the last commencement speaker as we prepare to enter Thunderbird's 75th anniversary, and I am speaking to you today as a hologram in a virtual graduation ceremony in our new headquarters, which will be finished in the year 2021. Who would have thunk? I knew I had come a long way, but never did I think I would be speaking as a hologram with Thunderbird embarking, in its own words, on the fourth industrial revolution. In the spirit of full disclosure, I would love to tell you that it was a goal of mine to go to Thunderbird, but that would not be true. I went to Thunderbird for all the wrong reasons. I was rejected from the only law school I applied to, Columbia. I didn't want to pursue a PhD in my major, psychology. I didn't want to be a teacher. I didn't want to get married. I didn't have a passion other than for buying shoes. And finally, and most importantly, my parents refused to fund a year in Europe to find myself. But they did give me an alternative, which at the time I considered a form of blackmail. and said that they would fund graduate school instead. I didn't realize until much later in life how prescient they were. When I graduated from the University of Oregon, I had two goals. I wanted an interesting life and the ability to financially support myself. It was an economics professor my senior year who suggested I look at a school in Arizona called Thunderbird School of Global Management. I'm thinking to myself, Thunderbird? What serious school could be called Thunderbird? To me, Thunderbird was either a cheap wine or an expensive car. Having no plan B and little direction in what I wanted to do, other than I knew I didn't want to stay in Oregon where I was born, raised, and went to college, I sent away for the catalog. I liked what I read. Sometimes being directionless can be helpful and makes you look at all the possibilities. And the thought of an international business career was intriguing. I applied and was accepted. In September 1972, I was dropped off in an oasis. I use that word loosely. In the middle of nowhere, surrounded by cotton fields and tract homes in Glendale. Not my idea of a college campus. The first stop was the coffee shop. I hadn't discovered the pub yet. And I remember a barrage of foreign languages being spoken, and something struck a chord. I felt like I belonged. To this day, I'm not quite sure why I felt that way immediately. I had not traveled much, certainly not overseas, nor did I speak a foreign language other than 8th grade French. Maybe it was the thrill of experiencing something so totally different, or just maybe it was hanging out at the pub on Thursday nights. I asked myself, what did Thunderbird do for me? It provided me with direction. It opened my eyes. I found I loved the tripartite curriculum of business, a geographic area of study, and languages. It was a diversity and the forming of lifelong friendships with people I otherwise would have never met. A missionary son who grew up in Colombia. He also taught me to love soccer. A woman who is half American, half Italian, raised in Turkey. A friend whose parents escaped from oppression in the Czech Republic in 1956, who spoke 5 languages. Every day was an adventure, learning something new, meeting other students whose life experiences were so different from mine. I also found something that I was good at, finance, and that was interesting, except for statistics and accounting. My geographic area of study was Latin America. It had always fascinated me, which was reinforced by hanging with a group of Latin American students. My one area of weakness and total fright was languages. In this case, Spanish. Languages have never been easy for me. I don't have an ear for them. I would have to take over-the-counter tranquilizer just to get through the class. But I made it. I came to respect the importance of being trilingual in order to better understand a country's culture, history, people, and traditions. It broadens you as a person. I left Thunderbird with a job in finance in New York, not knowing what was in store for me, but confident that I was on the right road. Moving to New York was easy, as a large number of Thunderbirds I knew were starting their careers there as well. I began my career focusing on Latin America and spent 10 years doing corporate finance in various countries. There were not many women in banking traveling to Latin America in 1974. I will say that being female worked to my advantage because all the clients remembered me. It was exciting. I was involved in some of the first large country financial restructurings, including the Mexican debt crisis in 1982. Pretty heady experience for a young banker. From there, I went on to do large capital markets financings, including leverage buyouts, restructurings, and M&A transactions. I spent 30-plus years in banking, culminating at JP Morgan, where I was a senior executive running corporate banking for the Americas. My biggest regret is I never had an overseas assignment. I was never in the right place or the right time for it to happen. I traveled the world for work, but never lived or worked in a foreign country for any length of time. The first thing I did when I retired was to move to Rome for 3 months with my husband. I re-engaged with the school in 2012 when I joined the board of directors. I am now active on the advisory council for the Thunderbird Global Alumni Network. It is truly exciting to see the evolution of Thunderbird and how it continues to put its imprimatur on students and communities at large. I realize how much Thunderbird stays with you. I was talking with friends this week, one living in Milan, one in Paris, and one in Washington, D.C., all Thunderbirds. We are going through a difficult time with the COVID pandemic. Lives being turned upside down, more physically restricted, and emotionally challenging. However, I have found more people reaching out to connect, many Thunderbirds, and that feels great. I've been thinking about the message I want to leave with you today. I have 2 messages. The first is straightforward. Show up, be present, and keep being present. Be engaged, follow your conscience, contribute. You owe it to yourself and to the organizations you work for or with. Thunderbirds are and will be successful. Success is defined by how you realize it, not by how others define it. I have great faith in you as leaders, and I have great expectations of you. Thunderbirds have always been different, global in outlook, more interested in and accepting of different cultures. Your generation is comprised of change agents. You have grown up in a world where being connected is the norm, where mobility has taken on new meaning, where traditional hierarchies are being flattened, where having 3, 4, and 5 careers, not jobs, is acceptable and often encouraged. You are natural collaborators. Given this, I want to talk about something bigger. My second takeaway is for you to become collaborative leaders, people who regularly seek out a diversity of opinions and ideas to build strategies and to solve problems, solving big problems through bold solutions. That was the name of a class I was recently asked to speak at for the Honors College at the University of Oregon, my alma mater. It got me thinking about the leadership and the importance of collaboration in solving problems, in creativity and innovation, in empowering people, among others. I recognize that you can define leaders and leadership in many ways. I'm choosing collaboration. I talked to the honors class about the Mexican debt crisis in 1982, where I was personally involved. It was a prime example of collaboration. It was 3 people working together: Paul Volcker, chairman of the U.S. Federal Reserve; Jacques de la Rosière, head of the International Monetary Fund; and Jesus Silva Herzog, finance minister of Mexico. They collectively realized that they had to think differently and to take on roles which were not in the scope of their respective institutions in order to put central bank, multilateral, and commercial bank lending agreements in place to avoid a collapse of the world's banking system. The words big and bold are in the eye of the beholder. It can be between people, institutions, and countries. Sometimes it's so big that no one individual, institution, or country can solve the problem, like in the case of the Mexican debt crisis. It can be an individual who collaborates with others to solve a problem in a company, in a community, in a country, in the world. It is about you as leaders being willing to listen, to learn, and being open to new ideas. It is you as a leader knowing that you don't necessarily have the right answer. It is about talking with people from different walks of life, with diverging opinions, and who are smarter than you. It is about connecting in person through social media or through research. We live in a technology-driven world where access to information, people, and ideas is a click away. Leadership is about making it happen. I leave you with a quote from Andrew Carnegie, an American industrialist and philanthropist in the early 1900s. Quote, "No man will make a great leader who wants to do it all himself or get all of the credit for doing it." Thank you.
Thank you, dear Susan. You make all T-Birds proud all over the world. We greatly appreciate your joining our digital convocation ceremony this year.